Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the La Salette Sports Network, where we're going to bring to you the La Salette Seaside versus St. Ignatius' freshman-sophomore. I'm Michael McCall and Blaise Laronia. The Lions just came off of a big victory. Their varsity played St. Ignatius' varsity Seaside team. It was a preseason game, and the Lions came out on top, which is always good to see. But, Blaise, what are you looking forward to see in this Seaside game right now?
Well, of course, last year we saw Seaside go all the way and win the state championship for their division. So I'm really excited to see what they can do here against St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius is a very talented program. They have very good coaches, and as a result in their program, they have very good players. So I'm really looking forward to this game and seeing what the Lions can do against the Wildcats here.
And this game and last game, the varsity game, they're you could say educational games for the coaches to see where they want players, see how they're doing. I was talking to Father Bevan, the assistant coach for the Lions, and he said that he thought our varsity looked solid. However, at the end of the game, we kind of fell back into a couple of our bad habits, but he said we can definitely clean that up, and we looked pretty solid out there, which is great. And right now, the Seaside making some meters, pushing against St. Ignatius, but quickly coming to you for the starting lineup. We got at number 1, Seamus Hanlon, the freshman. Number 2, Carlos Speck. 3, Peter Agbap-Roan. 4, Dominic Wallace. 5, Wyatt Herman. 6, Nicholas Kellerman. 7, Toby McQuillan. 8, Henry Dittman. 9, Salo Cruz. 10, Connor Hanlon. 11, number 12, Lewis Dittman. Marcel Lefebvre is at number 13. 15 is number Sumantri, and our wings are Daniel Sullivan and Michael Neese. As the Lions get a big ruck over, however, they're not there in time to steal it, as St. Ignatius again continues to plow forward.
So the Lions here already coming out with some intensity. Seaside looks really ready to play.
And right there, it's a not releasing call on St. Ignatius, so it's going to be the Lions' ball. And the ref coming over, asking the St. Ignatius coach to come and talk to him. We don't know exactly about what. We're just 3 minutes into the game, and the referee just wanted to have a quick word with the Seaside coach, and Salo Cruz is going to quick tap it as soon as he gets the signal from the ref, as he does. Quick pass to Connor Hanlon and a big hit there. And there goes Peter Agbap-Roan, lowering his shoulder, getting in there, making some meters. The Lions doing a good job of rucking, and Coach Lanthier definitely pounds that into them practice after practice. Ruck, tackle, and pass fundamentals that are very necessary for a rugby team to be successful. The pros make sure they have it down, so Mr. Lanthier makes sure our Seaside has it down. As St. Ignatius gets the ball, and they're going the other way, Lions defense, bringing them to a halt.
Lions are making sure to spread out enough that St. Ignatius does not outnumber them on the sideline. The ref will call a penalty against the Lions.
It was a knock-on. I didn't quite see who it was on, but it's going to be a scrum to St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius definitely looking like they have speed this game. Lions are going to have to make sure all the holes are closed on their defensive line. Make sure that the St. Ignatius isn't able to break through, and then Joseph Sumantri, the 15, in the back right there with green cleats on. He's going to have to protect that breakaway, and he's going to have to make sure that St. Ignatius, if they get any breakaways, he's going to have to make sure he makes that big tackle, the big open field tackle.
Lions shooting up on defense, and indeed St. Ignatius goes for the kick. Fielded by Joseph Sumantri, who is promptly tackled, is picked up by Michael Neese. He will pick up 1 or 2 meters. Hand it off, and now Salo Cruz getting ready to pass the ball into his forwards. Carlos Speck taking it in.
And the Lions right now, we saw definitely, the Lions definitely did not have size last year on their Seaside besides the towering Elijah Hall. However, the one thing they do have is fundamentals, and Coach Lanthier makes sure that he gets the Seaside, make sure they know their fundamentals, and that's their biggest strength. And hopefully we can see that this game. And there's another penalty on St. Ignatius. I believe that was hands in the ruck.
And Salo Cruz kicks it into touch.
Salo Cruz, a veteran from last year's Seaside Championship team. He's going to kick it to touch, and it's going to be St. Ignatius's ball. I believe that it went indirectly into touch, so St. Ignatius gets the ball.
It's good to see some new players in the Seaside rotation.
Or excuse me, quickly, it's going to be the Lions' ball. Sala Cruz was able to get it into touch. Sorry to interrupt you, Blaze, but Carlos Speck is throwing it in for the Lions.
We have a few veterans from last year and a few new players. So we have an even mix of the two.
Definitely a new player for the Lions is Michael Neese. He's a sophomore. Hopefully definitely going to bring some speed, get around, and the Lions get a quick tap, and they're passing it around, and they're continuing to plow forward. Right at that line out right there, a good play by Nicholas Kellerman. Grabbed the ball out of the air and just lowered his shoulders and drove in. Good to see him doing that. St. Ignatius finally brings the Lions' offensive advance to a halt.
And the ref will call back play to a penalty. So it'll be given to the Lions. And we'll have a scrum.
Lions doing well on not committing any penalties so far this game, which is great to see. St. Ignatius, they've had a few, which the Lions definitely have capitalized on, which is great, as Marcel is standing at the ready to get the quick pass from Salo. And St. Ignatius comes out with it, a big tackle by Nicholas Kellerman, and another nice tackle by Marcel, and St. Ignatius is able to save the ball from going into touch, and they're finally brought down to the grounds. And good tackling by the Seaside offense there. And in from the side, called on the Lions is going to be Seaside's ball.
So the Lions just trying to get some momentum going here. Seems a little bit difficult against St. Ignatius. St. Ignatius is a good team. Have definitely speed and strength as well as some size in there. So it's definitely an even matchup for the Lions.
And a lot to look from Seamus Hanlon, number 1 for the Lions. I'm hoping to see him get down and dirty and knock some players over, get into the try zone, and there we go, a nice run by the Lions.
Salo Cruz passing it among the back. Sebastian Cook takes it to ground. Peter Agbaparone makes some major ground there, as the ref calls a penalty awarded to the Wildcats. As they're setting up their offense.
The Lions making sure that they are on sides as St. Ignatius runs in, and a good tackle there by the Lions. And it looked like collapsing the ruck.
Salo Cruz will take the ball and kick it to touch.
Beautiful kick there by Salette. Cruz going all the way. Looked like it was a lot farther, but the line judge is signaling where the ball went into touch, and it's going to be the Lions. The Lions line out. Is Carlos Speck. Again, a new position for him. And it is on a football field, so it's a little bit confusing of where the touch lines are, but you can see that with the red flags.
Ball is taken by St. Ignatius, knocked away. And now they'll take it in with their forwards.
And the Lions really getting low on their tackles, which is great to see. And that's how they're able to stop players that are bigger than them. They're able to just get low and make the step and drive with their hips and push them back over. And as they push St. Ignatius back there with a beautiful defensive move.
Sebastian Cook's able to come away with the ball.
However, there's another penalty awarded to St. Ignatius. Lions really got to clean that up. Score still 0-0 as St. Ignatius kicks to touch, and that one is going to go into touch as Father Carlisle raises the flag for where it went into touch, and St. Ignatius is going to get the line out.
It's a little bit chilly here. You can see there's a good foot of snow on the ground in the background. Luckily, there's no snow on the field, and players don't have to worry about trudging through great heaps of snow.
Definitely was. It was nice out earlier when the sun. It was a little hard to see, but when I went outside, it was. Again, I wasn't playing, but I would imagine that it was probably nice for the players after they're sweating to have a nice breeze. However, the sun is clouded now, unfortunately, for the Seaside. And it's going to be St. Ignatius' balls. They're going to do a quick tap and go as they make meters before the Lions defense brings it to a halt.
Nicholas Kellerman helping to bring down one of the St. Ignatius big men.
And another penalty awarded to St. Ignatius. Lions doing well in the first half of this first half. However, they've started to rack up penalties. Hopefully that can be corrected now or at least at halftime. And there we go. Finally, a penalty is awarded to the Lions. And I believe it's a knock-on, so there's going to be a scrum, the Lions scrum.
Carlos Speck playing the hooker position. He did not play much Seaside last year, so it's good to see him in there in the rotation. As Connor Hanlon takes the kick. And I'm not sure whether that was touched by the Wildcats wing or not.
The line judge is pointing in the direction of St. Ignatius, so according to him, it did not touch St. Ignatius before going out.
It would be a line out to the Wildcats. Cruz giving the instructions to his forwards as to where to position themselves on defense.
Salette Cruz, definitely a player that I really wanted to score last year. However, he brought a lot to the team, was able to organize. I believe he was the captain of last year's Seaside team. I might be wrong on that, but a big hit there by Nicholas Kellerman. However, Salette Cruz wasn't able to score. However, he brought a lot to the team, organizing things, giving great offloads for scores to be able to happen. But we're seeing that a little bit more. But hopefully he can get the ball into the try zone this year. A nice ruck by the Lions as they get the ball. The poacher's there, and he was able to throw the ball back, and it's the Lions' ball now as they're on the halfway line.
Seamus Hanlon taking it into contact there. Cruz decides to kick.
And there's a knock, and he picks up the ball. However, he's tackled, and it's going to be St. Ignatius' ball. Great play there by Salo Cruz. Judging it, kicks it, and St. Ignatius knocks it, so the Lions are going to get the ball with the scrum. Good decision there by Salo Cruz. Nice little chip kick.
Another thing about Salo is that he's really able to see the field well, and he really has an eye for seeing weaknesses in the defense, so he's able to make smart decisions as to where to throw the ball and what to do at the right times. Ref doesn't like the scrum alignment.
And he doesn't call any call. He just wants to make sure that the players are safe. In 2014, there was a new rule change for the scrums, and he wants to just make sure that all the players are set before the scrum continues. Nice pass there by Salo Cruz as Connor Hanlon takes it into contact.
Dominic Wallace pushing against the Wildcats defense. The ref again calling a penalty, this time in favor of the Lions. Toby McQuillan taking it into contact.
So the Lions continue to drive forward, getting it out to the wings now. Excuse me, getting it out to the backs now.
Michael Neese is able to throw it back in before he goes out of touch. But unfortunately, the Wildcats gain possession of the ball. And they are starting to head back the other way with a kick.
Sumantri fields that kick as he's going the other way, and he's brought down to the ground as he drops the ball forward. Picked up by Marcel Lefevre. And there's the whistle from the knock-on on Joseph Sumantri. And there was going to be another scrum. It's going to be St. Ignatius' scrum, and the Lions were right there on the try line. However, just a few meters away. However, they weren't able to control possession of the ball. The score is still 0-0 with the clock showing 12 minutes, and Daniel Sullivan's going to come into the game for Joseph Sumantri, taking the full-back position.
And we can definitely see this Wildcats-Lions matchup is quite even, as we're already well over almost with only 12 minutes remaining in the first half, and still scoreless here.
And the scrum collapses, so they're going to do they're going to redo the scrum. The ball is going to stay in possession of St. Ignatius, as Marcel Lefebvre realizes that they were well behind the offsides line. Tells the team to move forward.
Lions defense lining up, waiting for the ball to be thrown in. There it is. Going down St. Ignatius's backs. Ball pops loose for a minute, and the Lions are able to come away with it.
However, there's a penalty again on the Lions. It's St. Ignatius's ball. The Lions really got to work on the poaching. They got to get into the ruck and get the ball quickly, try to get a not releasing ball. St. Ignatius is definitely getting to the ruck faster than the Lions. And it's going to be another scrum for St. Ignatius.
As dusk approaches, the spotlights are starting to take effect on the rugby pitch.
And the Lions they just need something to push their momentum. They just need something to get them down to the try zone. Last year, he's not here, but Gavin Colombe, he was fullback, and there were just so many times where he just got the ball past him, and he just went down basically the entire length of the field and was able to get into the try zone. So maybe Marcel can take that. He's definitely got the speed, get the ball on the outside, get around the defense. The Lions just got to find something to give them momentum. I'm sure they're pretty nervous out there. It's being their first game, or their first preseason game. As again, the ref was not happy with the scrum. And in the varsity game, we saw a lot of scrums happening, especially in the first half. There were a lot of knock-ons. It's definitely something that can be worked on. And however, this was a preseason game, so definitely gave the varsity, and now it's giving the Seaside definitely some practice in scrumming. Or I don't know if that's a word, scrumming, but I guess we'll use it for right now.
Lions defense eager to see some action here. And again, the scrum fails. So maybe the third time's a charm.
There you go. I can't tell who's if somebody's collapsing the scrum, and if so, I can't tell who is collapsing the scrum, which team. However, if the scrum is collapsed, I believe another time. I don't know if the ref is going to call this because it's just a scrimmage for Seaside, but it should be a penalty awarded to the other team. And St. Ignatius is able to get the ball out as Salette Cruz is able to hit the 9, and the ball is falling backwards as it gets out to the wing. And he's tackled into touch. There we go. The Lions, a big play there for the Lions.
Nice play by Sebastian Cook, I believe.
Nice tackle there. He realized where he was, and he was able to tackle him out. And there Carlos Speck is going to pass it in as the Lions get a line out. That's what the Lions needed after they found a little bit of difficulty forming the scrum back there.
A few of the Lions varsity players have come back to support the younger Lion players.
And I don't know how, but Toby McQuillan's able to get the ball after St. Ignatius won the line out, and there's a lot of hands in.
And a not rolling away call.
And there we go. Salette takes the quick tap. Quick pass to Peter Agbaperone, number 3. And Toby McQuillan with a nice clear out. Connor Halen, nice pass. Lions making some meters. They just got to get all the way. Got to control the ball. No knocks, no penalties here. And a big hit by St. Ignatius, and they're going to come up.
And we've seen Salette Cruz do a good job of going to both sides of the field, not just targeting one side, but using both sides to the Lions' advantage.
Lions definitely being aggressive this game as St. Ignatius continues to attack. And a nice tackle there by the Lions. It was on Sebastian Cook. Sebastian doing a great job. Another great tackle there. And a penalty awarded to the Lions. I believe it was not releasing. Salette Cruz is going to kick to touch again. Or no, excuse me, he's going to do a quick tap. And he's going to take it himself, drifts a little bit, passes it, and there's a big hit.
Lewis Dittman takes it into contact. Good clear up by Nicholas Kellerman.
Lewis Dittman
big 6'4" lock.
Lewis Dittman definitely a player to look out or St. Ignatius to look out for. He's only a freshman, definitely a strong player, and his brother Henry out there also. The Lions give the ball up again. St. Ignatius has it as they have numbers. However, they're not going to use them. And they drift forward, and Nicholas Kellerman comes up with a big tackle again. The ball's loose. Marcel gets in there to poach, and they're awarded the penalty. And the ref stops the clock for one of the St. Ignatius players is down. I believe that the last play there was a not releasing play, or a not releasing call.
Lions saw that advantage a little bit late. The ball popped out, and everyone just didn't exactly realize what was happening at first until Marcel saw the opportunity and went in to poach the ball. But the Lions have to be able to capitalize on those opportunities and have to be able to see openings that St. Ignatius gives them and use them to their advantage.
About 5 minutes left in this half. Score still 0-0 as St. Ignatius player is helped off of the field.
So play will resume. I'm not sure whose ball it will be.
I believe it's going to be the Lions' ball. But we'll see who the ref gives the ball to. Good play there by Marcel. Realized that the ball was able to be played and reached in to grab the ball. You play to the whistle. You don't stop playing unless there's a whistle blown. And the ref, I believe, is having a word with the St. Ignatius captain.
And the Lions having having concluded meeting
powwow, I guess you could say, as they were discussing on what to do in this game. I don't know, the Lions are looking solid. They're looking aggressive out there. A little nervous. A couple new players getting comfortable with their positions.
I think the Lions are doing very well, being that this is their first game and that St. Ignatius is such a good program. I really think that against this team that they're really showing a lot of promise, and that against other easier teams they'll definitely be able to dominate.
The Lions back at it as the play continues. Lions ball.
Lions rucking over aggressively. Sala Cruz passing the ball into Carlos Speck.
There's another penalty.
I believe it was coming in from the side. So Sala Cruz will pass the ball to Toby McQuillan, who unfortunately knocks it on. And it will be a scrum to St. Ignatius.
The Lions just need to work on keeping control of the ball right now. There have been plenty of times where they've had the momentum, good plays, getting down. And this is a preseason game, first game of the season, so it is expected that they have a few ups and downs, a few things they need to work on. But right now they just need to control the ball, not knock it on, hold on to the ball when they go into contact. Protect the ball and then make it playable immediately so their team can get there and continue the game or continue that possession. As St. Ignatius comes out, 8-man pick. And a nice tackle there from the Lions.
Lions setting up their defense to spread out. And a breakaway from St. Ignatius going down to the other end of the field, brought down by Daniel Sullivan. Good tackle by Sullivan.
And there's another big breakaway for St. Ignatius. And this one finally he's able to be brought down again as he throws the ball. And it rolls around on the grounds.
After two huge breakaways by St. Ignatius, unfortunately they knock it on.
I would say fortunately they knock it on for the Lions. Thankfully they knocked it on, so it's going to be the Lions scrum. That was a little bit close to the Lions. They got two big breakaways there.
A little too close.
Got
too close for comfort.
Got down to the close to the try line, and I don't know who made the big hit. I didn't quite see or what happened, but the ball was kind of just rolling around after that crazy offload from number 10, and the Lions are going to come up with it and hopefully be able to kick the ball out. And Salo Cruz puts it into the scrum, and Lions driving them back. He passes it, and there's the kick, I believe, from Daniel Sullivan.
Good kick from Sullivan as the ball pops loose. And I'm not sure what the call is going to be. It's going to be an advantage or a penalty given to St. Ignatius. Ref calling the Lions captain, Henry Dittman, who's playing at 8-man this game, to have a word with him.
Decent amount of penalties in this first half, and the scoreboard says a minute 27, but that's definitely not accurate because of the time taken off of because of the injury and then the that right there. So I would say probably about 5 minutes left. Thankfully, the Lions were able to prevent that try. However, St. Ignatius is going to get another attempt, and that kick is going to go into touch. St. Ignatius' line out.
As Henry Betts climbs over a large pile of snow to retrieve the ball.
Lions got to make sure that their defense is spread. It's got to make sure that the wings match up with the other wings, make sure that there are no holes. We saw those two big breakaways and how much damage they could cause for the Lions.
Lions preparing to contest the line out. The throw-in. And I'm not sure what that call was. Maybe the throw-in wasn't straight, according to the ref. But either way, it will be a scrum to the Lions.
Then again, there's another lucky break for the Lions. They can't rely on St. Ignatius making these mistakes. They got to clean up their own mistakes. They're looking a little disorganized out there. There have been a lot of mistakes for the Lions, but that's definitely something that can be corrected. Definitely, again, they're probably going to be nervous out there first game. They've definitely been doing well on defense, preventing St. Ignatius from scoring. There have been a couple times where it was pretty close. However, they came up with a couple clutch tackles, and there's a kick that is, I believe, going to go indirectly into touch. Did not go very far.
Kick taken by Connor Hanlon, and that will conclude the half.
And Connor Hanlon, I was a little confused at what that kick was, but thankfully he realized that the half had ended, so he just kicked it directly into touch to stop the half. Score still 0-0. The Lions definitely have a lot of things to improve on. But please come back in about 9 minutes for the second half of this game. Hopefully we can see if the Lions are able to put the ball into the try zone. But until then, thank you for listening in. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of this Seaside rugby game where the Lions are playing against St. Ignatius's freshman-sophomore. We're coming into the second half. The score is still 0-0. I'm Mike McCall, and with me is Blaze Laronia. Blaze, how do you think the Seaside has been doing? This is definitely a learning game for the Seaside, their first game. It's a preseason game. How do you think they've been doing, and what do you really think they need to work on for this second half?
I think Seaside's been doing fantastic, actually. They're definitely very evenly matched up with this team. I mean, you could see we're scoreless, and we've already completed one half of the game. So very difficult match for the Lions, but I definitely think that we can gain some momentum and be able to put some points on the board.
Yeah.
As far as what we need to work on, I think the Lions just have little mistakes right now that they need to clean up, and some of those will smooth out in time, and a couple of those are just part of learning the game. So,
for last year's Seaside, they went to the state championship and were able to come away with the victory, and part of that was because of Coach Lanthier. He was just drilled the basics, pass, ruck, and tackle, made sure that the team everyone on the team was able to do that, and we're starting to see that again this time. The Lions really getting in there, getting low, making big tackles. They just got to clean up, as you said, those few mistakes, which is exactly why we're playing this game, to figure out what we need to work on and be able to correct that in practice. And the Seaside is definitely focusing on those. Salo Cruz right now doing a great job at 9. He's getting the ball moving around, and then Connor Hanlon with a nice pass there as the Lions get a penalty right off the bat at the beginning of the first half, and now they're just continuing to march down the field and gaining meter after meter. And St. Ignatius is going to get the ball after the turnover there.
we've seen some large contributions also from the Lions bench players and subs. We've seen some big plays from Carlos Speck as well as Dominic Wallace. So we hope to see some new players really stepping up, and I think there are a few more subs coming in. So it'll be good to see everyone get in there, get in the rotation, and get their hands dirty and do some work.
And there's a knock-on right there on St. Ignatius. There have been quite a few knock-ons this game, quite a few scrums, which is good for the Lions. One of the scrums, the ref spent a decent amount of time talking to the players, making sure that they're properly performing the scrum, making sure everything is safe, the shoulders are square. And now there's going to be another scrum, so another great learning lesson for the Seaside as Salo Cruz puts the ball in, and the back of the scrum looks like it collapses, and St. Ignatius is all standing up, and they get the ball. However, Seaside's defense is able to bring their advance to an end as they make a tackle. There's another penalty awarded to the Lions.
Salo Cruz will take the quick tap and pass it into Henry Dittman, the Seaside's captain.
And a nice ruck there. The Lions looking solid. And Toby McQuillan getting back on sides. St. Ignatius' defense staying solid. The Lions really got to get some points on the board as St. Ignatius' defense is stopping them from gaining any meters. And there we go as Nicholas Kellerman is going to tackle St. Ignatius player as they come up with the ball. And the referee is going to call a knock-on St. Ignatius. It's going to be another scrum for the Lions. Again, the second one in the second half already, only 4 minutes.
Quite a lot of knock-ons here, Michael. I don't know really what those knock-ons are due to. Maybe the cold weather, maybe nervousness, a combination of both. But we have definitely seen a lot of scrums throughout the game.
And that's just something that can really be fixed up in practice, just getting the reps in of passing the ball around, getting good hands. And, yeah, I definitely think both of those two factors, just the nerves of these players, and then the cold weather, as St. Ignatius is going to come away with the ball as their wing has an open space, cuts back inside, and he's finally brought to the grounds. The Lions do really have to control themselves, stop knocking the ball on. However, the Lions are going to get another penalty as Salo Cruz is going to kick the ball, and it's not going to go into touch. As St. Ignatius fields it and gets a quick pass, and nice tackle there. Offload is not connected with, and now finally Sebastian Cook is able to bring down St. Ignatius, and the ball is rolling around on the ground, and the Lions take advantage of it, and the referee's going to blow the whistle. And there's another knock-on by St. Ignatius. So another scrum is awarded for the Lions, definitely getting the scrum reps in.
I believe with all the penalties, the St. Ignatius coach is either not too happy with the ref or not too happy at his players for committing the penalties. There's definitely some unhappy feelings on the St. Ignatius side of the field.
And the ref is not happy with that scrum.
And the Lions are in position. They have their backs ready to receive the ball. Salo Cruz calling the plays to fly half Connor Hanlon.
As the second scrum is engaged, and Salo Cruz is going to put the ball into it, and St. Ignatius pushes it, and the ball's out. Salo Cruz spins around, almost slips, running around in a circle, finally gets out, and he finally passes it, and the Lions maybe make 1 meter. And St. Ignatius is going to get the ball, and there's another penalty, and this time it's awarded to St. Ignatius.
Ref going over to talk to one of the players in St. Ignatius as they set up their offense.
The Lions defense spreading over out across the field. They got to make sure that they don't have any holes open. There have been 2 big breakaways for St. Ignatius, and there's a big tackle there for the Lions. Nice tackle there. And a nice clear out. However, there's a penalty awarded to the Lions. It's going to be the Lions' ball again. Possession changing quite a few times in the second half as the clock is at 22 minutes now, and the ball kicked down to the other end of the field, and St. Ignatius down, passing the ball around the Lions' defense, putting a lot of pressure as St. Ignatius gets the breakaway and is finally brought down.
Lions definitely going after St. Ignatius on defense, not shying away from contact. Good hit there by Marcel and followed up by Dominic Wallace.
The Lions really putting the pressure on, noticing when the ball is coming out of the ruck and advancing right away and stopping possession. And there we go. The Lions get the ball, intercept the pass as they're moving closer and closer to the try line. They got to put points up on the board. No mistakes can happen here. The Lions rucking, doing a good job. And there we go. There's a breakaway as he's brought down right. And he's finally brought down.
Lions knocking on the door of St. Ignatius's try zone, but and instead there's a not rolling away call given to the Lions, so they'll get another chance here, just a few meters away from the try zone. Seamus Hanlon taking it in and brought down.
Got to lower his shoulder, and he's going to be knocking people over left and right. He's just got to get in there, and St. Ignatius is going to be able to come up with a steal on the try line, and they're going to gain quite a few meters before the Lions are able to bring them down.
So unfortunate for the Lions. They had right on the brink of scoring a try, and The ball's given up. And this game remains scoreless.
An advantage is given to St. Ignatius. Might have been a high tackle there, and there's the whistle. And the ref is bringing it all the way back. And the ref is calling a scrum. There must have been a knock on the Lions. I didn't quite see it, but it's going to be a scrum for St. Ignatius. And the Lions, they were right there. They were on the try line. They had the penalty. They weren't able to keep possession of the ball.
Henry Dittman coming off the field momentarily as Carlos Speck will replace him.
And Henry's just got to clean up some blood. As soon as that is cleaned up, hopefully he's able to get back out on the field. If you're bleeding, you must step off and get that taken care of.
So the Lions settle in for their scrum.
St. Ignatius puts the ball in. They sneak out around the other side, and another big breakaway, and they pass it out, and he cuts in to St. Ignatius' wing, and a big play there. St. Ignatius continues to advance forward.
Good tackle by Carlos Speck, assisted by Joseph Romero. And another whistle by the ref.
And he's signaling time off as he goes and he wants to talk to the St. Ignatius coach again.
So the players get a chance to rest as the ref and the coach have a little chat.
And
Patrick McDonald now checking into the game. It's good to see some new players getting in there.
I don't know who he's coming, and he's coming in
out for Sullivan.
Daniel Sullivan. He's going to take the fullback position, number 15.
Oh, I believe Marcel has moved to fullback, and Patrick may
He's taking
be
a wing.
Yeah, correct. Patrick may be taking a wing. And the St. Ignatius coach having a little talk with his players. Maybe the ref asked him to talk to his players for a moment. Not exactly sure what the big mix-up is all about.
I think he's talking to them about about scrumming, explaining to the St. Ignatius players the proper way of performing a scrum. The ref does not seem very happy with how the scrums have been throughout this game. I don't know if there's going to be a scrum here. It doesn't look like the lines are set up for a scrum, but
I'm not quite sure what the big weight is.
St. Ignatius seems to slowly be setting up. And the referee signals that the time has started again, so it's going to be St. Ignatius' ball as they're lining up to take the ball directly into contact with the forwards, and there's a
good hit by Dominic Wallace as he brings down one of St. Ignatius' forwards.
The Lions got to try to get a steal, as there's another broken tackle there from St. Ignatius. The Lions defense has got to stay solid, and there's a knock. St. Ignatius jumps on the ball, and there are a few times where the ball's been rolling around, and the Lions have just kind of watched the ball like deers in headlights. They just got to jump on the ball. If the ball's rolling around and there's no whistle, you got to get on the ball. And
yeah, we saw that earlier, and luckily Marcel was able to jump in there and grab the ball before the Wildcats got to it. But
because of that knock on, there's going to be yet another scrum. About 20 minutes left in this second half. It's going to be the Lions scrum, and hopefully they can figure out some way to get back down into St. Ignatius's half. They were so close just a few minutes ago. Let's see what they can do here as Salo Cruz gets the ball, and
you'll pass it up to Connor Hanlon, who will cut inside and offload it to Marcel, who's then tackled. St. Ignatius will get the ball back.
And I believe that was in touch because his legs were out. However, nothing is signaled, so the ball's going to play is going to continue. And St. Ignatius is just going to power their way through the defensive line as they're so close to the try line.
And Marcel is able to bring him down.
And there's a penalty awarded to the Lions again. Thankfully, the Lions are going to be able to get a penalty right when they need it.
Lions get a lucky break as Connor Hanlon kicks for touch, but it doesn't quite make it. St. Ignatius runs it back, moving toward the try line, but driven back by the Lions defense.
And the whistle is blown yet again. And this time, the penalty is awarded to St. Ignatius. They're going to get another opportunity to get into the try zone. The Lions got to prevent them from getting into the try zone or hold the ball up in the try zone.
Lions cannot let St. Ignatius score here.
The Lions got to get low on their tackles. They're going in pretty high right now. And they bring them down right before the try line.
Lions also have to be wary of not getting sucked into the ruck. But the Wildcats score first. And they jump up to a 5-0 lead. Unfortunate for the Lions, who had battled all this game.
There have been many opportunities for the Lions to score. They were close down there, about 5-10 minutes ago. However, they just weren't able to keep possession of the ball. They got to hold on to the ball. Be careful with the penalties, especially rucks and scrums. And they just got to stop knocking the ball on. They got to hold the ball. They got to catch it. And they can't let St. Ignatius steal the rucks and just take the ball right out. Decently difficult kick for St. Ignatius's kicker, and it's going to be too short. No good. So the Lions hopefully can move quickly here and catch St. Ignatius off guard.
The Lions have maybe about closer to 15 minutes probably to see if they can even the score and hopefully to put a few more points than St. Ignatius on the board, as Connor Hanlon will be kicking off.
The Lions really got to make sure their defense is solid. No more, they cannot allow any more breakaways here. They got to close up that defensive line. Make sure all the holes are sealed up, and then Marcel's got to watch from the back. He's got to make sure that he's able to get those open field tackles as St. Ignatius continues to advance.
Lions also have to find a way to slow St. Ignatius's momentum. Now that they've scored, the Wildcats have a little bit of extra energy behind them.
And a big tackle by Wyatt Herman. He gets in there and throws the player to the ground, and St. Ignatius still has the ball, but they've lost a lot of meters. Hopefully the Lions can take this and use it to their advantage, and the whistle blows again, not releasing, I believe, and it's going to be the Lions' ball. The Lions got to move quickly here. They got to be smart. They're in St. Ignatius's half of the field. Excuse me, half of the pitch. And Salo Cruz is opting to kick for points.
Maybe Connor Hanlon.
And they're bringing out the tee.
Connor Hanlon will attempt to kick for points here.
And if he's able to make this kick, this will be very big for the Lions.
It's quite a far kick.
And as he lines up, he has to kick this since they've already told the ref that they're going to kick for points, and it's going to be...
It's too short.
Just a little bit short. It was straight. Just didn't have the power, wasn't able to get there.
Connor, definitely a powerful kicker. Just not enough power in that kick to get through the uprights.
It's a goal line drop kick for St. Ignatius as the Lions move up. And St. Ignatius kicks it, and it's missed by Martin Schoberly. As he collects it now, going the other way, breaks one tack. No, he does not. He's tripped up, and St. Ignatius is going to get in there. Luckily, Wyatt Herman's there to gator roll him out of there. And the Lions looking solid there, not giving any way as that kick goes nowhere and is collected again by the Lions. The Lions just need to score here and make the conversion kick, and they'll be up.
Connor Hanlon fighting to take the ball in. Lions rucking continues to be solid as they pass it down to their backs. Marcel gets a little bit of a breakaway there.
The Lions they have the momentum right now. They got to keep pushing. They've been making meters. St. Ignatius looks like they're getting a little bit tired, and Sallette's taking advantage of that.
St. Ignatius is also getting sucked into the ruck a little bit too much, so the Lions have to take advantage of that. They have to take advantage of the fact that they have more players on the wings that they can use to pass the ball down.
And after that penalty, the Lions take advantage, and they get quick tap, make a few more meters. Again, as you said, they got to use their backs. And
some clumsy passing, but the Lions are able to recover the ball.
And the St. Ignatius is shooting up before they pass, and the Lions again got to notice that and use that. Salo Cruz gets a quick pass. Marcel, another quick pass to Salo. Romero isn't able to come up with it, and the line judge is signaling that it goes into touch.
A brilliant opportunity for the Lions. Just Romero wasn't able to field the clean pass from Cruz.
And it's still not over. It's still the Lions line out. They still definitely have, they can do this. The clock says 6 minutes, but it's probably more like 10 minutes. So the Lions got to win this, and that is going to be given to St. Ignatius, and he's brought down. The Lions got to get in there. Nice clear out. However, St. Ignatius gets the ball out before. And the ref is going to give a penalty to the Lions. It's coming in from the side. Thankfully, the Lions are going to get the ball back here. And now the Lions really got to take advantage of this. And Toby McQuillan takes it. He makes a couple meters, still not down. Throws the ball over, and St. Ignatius picks it right up. Toby's just got to go to ground there. He can't just fling the ball over, fling the ball away. Don't know what exactly is going on. However, the Lions make another tackle, and St. Ignatius continues to attack as they kick the ball down, and Salo receives it. And he's drifting a little bit. He's got to run straight. Finally passes it out. The Lions continuing to move forward. Finally brought down by St. Ignatius' defense.
Lions passing it to their backs again. Solo Cruz organizing his forwards.
And there's another drop, and it's knock on, so it's going to be St. Ignatius' ball. The Lions really just got to catch the ball. They got to keep control of it. They got to hold on to it. And they got to stop doing those crazy offloads. I know for varsity they've been practicing offloads a lot. They've definitely got that down, but I don't know if Seaside's at that level yet. They just got to catch the ball, protect it, and go into contact and make the ball playable for their players to grab it and continue play. There have been a lot of times where the Seaside players are just throwing the ball away, and St. Ignatius is jumping right on top of it and getting the ball.
Right, the Lions have to really be aware of where their own teammates are instead of just flinging the ball behind them. They have to actually pass it to their teammates.
And the Lions collapsing the scrum. And it's the Lions' penalty. It's going to be their ball. And quick tap by the Lions. Got another opportunity to score. They got to take advantage of this. They cannot make any mistakes. They got to pass the ball out. They had the numbers on the right side. However, they didn't take advantage of that. St. Ignatius defense starting to set up again.
Yeah, the Lions had to take advantage of that opportunity while it was still there. And now St. Ignatius kind of realized that and started spreading out their defense a little bit more to the left. Had the Lions seen that earlier, they might have been able to pass it to their backs and potentially tie the game up at 5.
There's a high tackle by the Lions, so a penalty awarded to St. Ignatius as they kick to touch. The clock says 2 minutes. More likely there's about 8 minutes left. The Lions really got to just control the ball. There have been so many times where they had the advantage and they just gave it away. However, that's why they're playing this game. They're playing the game to figure out where their weak links are, and then they're going to go back to La Salette and hopefully fix those mistakes throughout practice before the season starts.
Right, even though these games are not season games, they are still very crucial in that they help the Lions to see what their weaknesses are and what their strengths are, so they can really work on those. And
Wyatt Herman coming up with a big, he grabbed the ball out of St. Ignatius' hands and comes up with it, and a nice play there by Wyatt, as there might have been hands in the ruck by St. Ignatius, nothing called. Salo Cruz passes it out to Connor. The ball being passed down, and again they cut back in. The Lions making it past the 50-meter line.
Salo Cruz going to the right side again. Patrick McDonald tackled.
Nice
Not
rocking.
quite out of touch.
The Lions need to stop drifting. They got to run straight forward as they're being pushed back now again behind the 50-meter line.
Lions are not quite deep enough or spread out enough with their wings.
And when they're passing, they got to realize where the holes are, get the ball all the way out to the wing, and then find that open space. They got to stop cutting back in. They got to stop drifting. They got to take the ball, run it forward, take it into contact, or if it's better to pass it to the open player. But yet again, here's another scrum. This scrum is going to be for St. Ignatius. Or it's going to use, excuse me, it's going to be St. Ignatius' scrum. And the Lions pushing back now. And the Lions pushing St. Ignatius all the way back. However, they weren't able to come up with the ball as St. Ignatius has it now, passing it down the line. That one's a little bit too far.
Lions have to find a way to get the ball back and quickly go the other way.
St. Ignatius going down to the other side of the pitch. Lions got to get in there. They have the numbers now. They weren't able to poach that one. And St. Ignatius again attacks the Lions' defensive line. That pass bobbled, however, is recovered, and St. Ignatius goes into contact yet again. And there's another big breakaway. The Lions finally bring him down to the grounds.
St. Ignatius trying to swing it out to their backs in hopes that the Lions' defense is not spread. However, the Lions are able to regain possession of the ball.
And they kicked it. I don't know how much time they have left, but it's definitely not a lot. And St. Ignatius is going to get the ball again and go right past the 50-meter line. A nice tackle there. And another breakaway for St. Ignatius, and he's finally brought down to the grounds.
And a penalty awarded to St. Ignatius. Might be a high tackle. It appeared that maybe Patrick McDonald's tackle on that last play was could have been high. Or maybe he's not going to give the card.
He's talking to the St. Ignatius captain, but I thought the penalty was on the Lions. And the Lions, again, they just got to keep possession of the ball. They can get the ball. They're able to march down the field. They just got to maintain possession of the ball. And St. Ignatius is going to kick it, and it's going to go into touch.
And that will conclude the end of the match.
St. Ignatius is going to come out on top 5-0, a very low-scoring game. Seaside definitely playing hard out there, aggressive. They just have a few things that they need to work on, mainly just maintaining possession of the ball, not knocking it on, but definitely good to see that they're able to get out there and definitely working on the scrums, working on the lineouts. But hopefully we can see what they can do. They have big shoes to fill after the Seaside won the state championship last year. But our next game is on Thursday, so please tune in. That's going to be the varsity game for the Lions. Please tune into that. But until then, this was Michael McCall and Blaze Laronia bringing you this varsity and Seaside game. Thank you so much for tuning in.